Hey, friends. So I'm Meredith Hawley. I'm a lawyer, life coach, and best-selling author. And my new book, The Inclusive Leader's Guide to Healthy Workplace Culture, is getting put together right now by my editor, I think. I'm just picturing her sitting at her desk, putting it all together. And if I'm wrong about that happening, then I'm going to force her to tell me about it. So today I want to tell you about something that is sort of a key component in my book, give you a little sneak preview, and that is about power dynamics. So what I teach is that power dynamics and imbalance of power is key. Hey, Thomas, is key to what causes conflict, harassment, and discrimination, and what solves it at the same time. So when we believe we are powerless and when we have evidence to show that we are powerless, we often justify a lot of behavior that we wouldn't otherwise engage in. So, for example, if I am in my workplace and I think I have no influence over the workplace culture, then I am more likely to engage in sort of negative behavior, gossiping, backbiting, aggressive behavior, because I don't think that my behavior matters. I think that I'm powerless in the environment. Like one of the studies show that insecurity, interpersonal insecurity, and job insecurity is a major indicator of whether men in powerful positions will harass. And so this is sort of the same kind of thing that I'm talking about. If we're in the workplace and we think I don't have power over this environment, we're more likely to act out. The same is true if we believe we're in the victim place, that we are receiving harassment. If we believe we're powerless, we might just shut down and we're not going to protect ourselves and respond, or we're going to lash out back at the person and try to get them to change their behavior and engage in a crisis conflict. So this is, I believe, the root cause. I believe like our perception, our self-perception that we are powerless is a root cause of major conflict. So the way that we shift that is by changing our thinking, changing our beliefs around our own power in any given situation. This is easier said than done, right? A lot of us view each other as having a lot of power, but we don't see ourselves as having power. So this is where I do a lot of deep work with clients about their beliefs about themselves, about their evidence of their own powerlessness, and where they do have power, where they do have the ability to move forward in their lives. So when we're shifting that power dynamic, we're also taking responsibility for our own safety, for our own space, rather than taking responsibility for the other person's behavior. That's a quick overview of a lot of what I teach. But what we want to look at with this in discrimination and harassment situations is we all have an area where we are privileged. We all have an area where we have power and where we take up space and where we're very comfortable. The easiest example for me to think about with this is when I taught fifth graders in Ukraine. I taught like 40 fifth graders in Ukraine, and they would run around like bonkers. And I was teaching them English. And it was this hilarious experience because this was one of my only classes where I would actually speak Russian to the students, because you're not supposed to speak Russian to them. But I got to a place, and I'm not proud of this, where I actually like grabbed a student by his jacket and dragged him to the principal's office. This was like not something that would have been okay in the United States. And I will say I was like 22 years old at this point. So I give myself a little bit of a pass, but it wasn't okay behavior. But I felt so powerful in my environment and so willing to take up space that I was willing to act out in that way with the student. I would like yell at them in Russian to be quiet. I had been maybe for a little too long in Ukraine at that point. I wouldn't do that now. And I probably would never have done that in the United States. We justify behavior all different ways. And so that was an area where I felt very powerful. When I think about myself teaching kids, I feel like I'm in a powerful place. But then in the workplace, we often justify this hierarchy that puts us in a powerless place. So there's an area where each of us does feel more powerless. And that's an area for us to inquire into. So within culture, this happens with discrimination. So there's a characteristic each of us has, like gender or race. And within society, we've said one type of this characteristic has power and another doesn't. So men have power, women don't, is the traditional assumption. And a lot of us engage in that assumption, right? And so when you're doing this inquiry work for yourself, when you're looking at power dynamics in your own life, you want to look at areas where you do have power and areas where you don't. Look into what your assumptions are around your own power. So this is just a little sneak peek about what I am giving you in my new book. This is, I sort of jumped to step 3 in the book, and there's lots more in it, and I go into a lot more detail about how to use this in a way to resolve conflict in your environment. If you see other people and you want to help other people with their power dynamics, how to use this to help them. So if you are interested in that, if you want to be part of the book launch team, then you get an early reader copy, an advanced reader copy of the book. And I'm hoping to send those out on Friday. And then if you want to be on the book launch team, come here. Cressida wants to join us. So if you want to be on the book launch team, then what I want to have you do is, what I'll have you do is you'll get an early copy of the book and then you'll write me a review. And then when the book launch comes around on March 14th, you'll post the review on Amazon. So it's pretty simple, not a lot of work. You get an early copy of the book and I would love to have you on the team. So just comment below, yes, raise your hand if that sounds fun to you. And I hope that you'll be part of the team. I'm going to create a Facebook group for it, so you'll get more instructions, but it's a simple process, and I'd love to have you get an early copy. So the book, again, is The Inclusive Leader's Guide to Healthy Workplace Culture. It teaches all about power dynamics, about confidential reporting, about how to create a healthy workplace culture in your environment, everything that I've learned as a lawyer representing employees, or everything I could fit in a book anyway. All right. I love you guys. I'll talk to you soon.